everyone. I have a new channel I'm starting, Mystifying Miracles, and it's about showcasing true stories of people that have had miracles in their lives. Some are big, some are small, and what inspired me to do it was a miracle that occurred in my own life this past October in 2023. I'll tell that story, of course, in another video, but if these kind of mysterious stories where the unexplained happens, sometimes it's an angel, sometimes it's just downright unexplainable. And that's fascinating to me. If it's fascinating to you, you may like this. So take a watch and we'll kind of learn and take this journey together, learning about true stories. Our first story takes place March 6th, back in 2015. And a woman, 25-year-old Jennifer Grosbeck, was a loving and devoted mom. She had 18-month-old Lily, and on that night, they had been visiting her parents who lived in Salem, Utah. And when it came time to go, it was around 10 o'clock at night, that night on March 6th, and she packs up Lily. Her dad helps them pack up into her vehicle, her red Dodge sedan, and, buckles up little Lily in her car seat, says goodbye. Now, it is worth noting, I did find a couple of sources that did state that I guess her father had given an interview after what we're about to discuss happens. And I say this because it could have been a factor into what's about to happen on their way home. And what happened was her dad claims that Jennifer took a Klonopin earlier that evening at their home. She dealt with anxiety and a few things, so she had taken that. When it came time to go that night, she even said she felt a little funny, and her father offered to take her and little Lily home. He even tried to, really coax her into saying yes, like, look, it's not a problem. I can take you both home. No big deal. Maybe you shouldn't be driving, that type of thing. But Jennifer was adamant. She wanted to just get home. She was pretty sure she could make it, that, it's all right. It's not that far. So no, I got this, Dad, kind of a situation, and there was no talking her out of it. So again, they pack up, they get on out of there. And now here's where the police reports come in. So about 10:30 p.m. on their way home, Jennifer was heading north on Main Street, and she was approaching Arrowhead Trail, again, about 10:30 p.m. Again, this was a cold night, chilly, so, streets could have been a little icy, that type of thing. But about 10:30 p.m., her car veers off the road and ends up hitting a retaining wall, which then makes the car overturn into an icy river embankment. And unfortunately, it turned over upside down. Well, no one witnessed this happen. No one was around. So it wasn't until the next day that the vehicle was actually found. And it was found by a fisherman who happened to be going by, and he saw the car upside down. Again, this is 14 hours after the accident occurred. So you can imagine, oh my goodness. He sent, a report in, called authorities, and the initial report just stated, something to the fact of an abandoned car was upside down in the river embankment. So when authorities got there, firefighters and such, they were like, abandoned vehicle, there's no need, we have to rush and do this now. So they weren't even planning to overturn the car and, get it upright and do all that. They were like, that can be saved for another day, soon. It's not an emergency. Well, no sooner that they were saying that and thinking those thoughts, they end up hearing an adult woman voice screaming, "Help me." Now, this wasn't one, this wasn't two, this was several EMTs and or firefighters that heard this voice. Just as they were about to, take off and say, we'll do this, another day. This is not an emergency. So they hear the help me and they're like, oh my goodness, somebody's in this car. So they get to work, doing what adrenaline's pumping. They're doing everything they can to get to this woman who was in the vehicle. So at this time, they did not know again that this was Jennifer's car and little Lily. So they again get to work doing what they're doing, and they continue to hear this help me. And amidst their, trying to get the car back turned over the right way and out of the river embankment, they see that there's a woman, a mother in the front seat, and there's also a baby and again upside down in her car seat in the back. So they're like, oh my gosh, that just gets their blood pumping even faster. And they're like, we got to hurry. And it was found now after the fact that Jennifer actually, she passed away on impact. So we know that this voice was not Jennifer, even though that's probably what they thought at the time, because they didn't know till they got in there and realized she was already gone, that was the case. So they get to work, they fly Lily to Primary Children's Hospital. And she spent about a week in the ICU. But the good news is no brain damage, no lasting horrible injuries or anything like that. Little Lily was okay. So that, amazing. That in itself is a miracle, because little Lily was upside down 14 hours, blood rushing to her head, not to mention the car in an icy river embankment, so it's freezing. And they say that little Lily wasn't even dressed for cold weather. So it wasn't like she was bundled up in a bunch of clothes and a coat. I think they said she was just wearing, regular attire, but not really cold weather attire. So she could have froze to death. And, being upside down and all the blood rushing, that's a miracle that she did not have the brain damage. Also, after the fact, firefighters who had jumped into the river also ended up getting hypothermia because it was so cold in the water of the river embankment. We know that this is just a miracle in itself for little Lily surviving this. And of course, the second miracle being that they heard the voice saying, help me, help me. Like, who was it? Was it an angel? Was it, it's very mysterious. I love reading and learning about these kinds of things that have really happened. And in fact, in this one particular story, there was a firefighter, I believe he was an officer by the name of Tyler Bedos. And he was one of the ones that actually heard the voice as well that stated, help me, and kept saying, help me. He remembers going back to that day. There was another authority, I believe a firefighter by the name of Brian DeWitt. He could have been an officer, actually, now that I'm thinking about it. Officer Brian DeWitt. And Tyler remembers hearing Brian saying back to the voice that day. So they're hearing, help me, help me. Brian says, we're coming. We're trying to get in there and get to you as fast as we can. So he was screaming back at the voice, which at that time, again, they did not know who it was. They thought it was just the woman in the car at the time. I think that's really cool that it's kind of like two miracles in this one story. Lily having no brain damage and being okay and surviving. And of course, if they had waited, you got to think 1, 2, 3 days to overturn that supposed abandoned car, little Lily wouldn't have made it. So, it's just awesome. Like, who did they hear? Like, that is just so captivating to me. So I don't know what you guys think, or if you enjoyed this story. We'll be doing more stories like that. If you liked it, follow us along. Hope you guys have a great day.